The fourth key principle to understand in setting pricing is what are the different types of customers within your target customer group. You say, well, that's crazy. No, even in your target customer group, there are different categories of people depending on risk. There are people who adopt it very early on and people who adopt it very late. This is a key consideration when thinking about setting your pricing strategy.
Can you explain that, Bill?
Yes. So this comes from Jeffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm book, which is a book that basically almost all entrepreneurs think about when they think about it entering a new market. So the book was called Crossing the Chasm. And basically, there were 5 groups that Jeffrey Moore talked about. The first
5 groups of customers.
5 groups of customers, right. So when you have a new product that comes out into the marketplace, the first people to adopt a new product, a very innovative product, are what I'll call technological enthusiasts, okay? Though these are people who are going to buy a product just because they love the technology. They've got to have the latest iPhone. A new product comes out, they've got to buy it because it's got some new cool technology.
So it's less about solving a specific problem, but I guess the problem is the desire to always know about technologies that are coming out.
It's technology for technology's sake. Right. It's not fundamentally solving a problem, but they want to just understand it. Maybe they have to be the smartest person in the room. Maybe they're just curious, but for whatever reason, they want to buy that. Now, we know some of those people personally. But
there are a lot of them here.
Yeah, it's called Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And technology is its own reward, as one person told me. But in businesses, there are also places like this. They buy one of any product, they bring it into their research center, and they will analyze that product, they will reverse engineer that product so that they really understand what's going on in the technological realm. And then some people there are trying to figure out how can they apply that in the business.
So they're heads of research, chief innovation officers.
Yes, those types of people. Now, some of the chief innovation officers I actually might put in this group, but research is responsible for understanding technology. The next group is what we call early adopters. Excuse my handwriting here, but this is early adopters. Now, these people are not necessarily technological enthusiasts. They see exciting business opportunities for this. But they rush into this very early because these people generally are more egotistical. They're buying a product because they feel if they get in early, it can make them look good. So they're not, on the balancing risk versus reward, they're willing to take a lot of risk here because they want to be at the head of the parade when it's had. They want to say, I was the first person to adopt this new technology. Now, that's not the solid business person necessarily. That's the person who actually is putting their career in front of the business in a lot of ways. But that's how they see their path to the corner office. So there are a lot of these people, and they might be chief innovation officers. These people are more in research and development. These people are like, hey, I want to know about the technology even though I'm not a technology person because I want to know how it applies to solve a dramatic problem.
Their job is to be an attacker, take risks, right?
Yes. And so for here, the risks are higher, and they're not going to implement large scales of them. The next group is, and I'm going to put a little space between these two as I'll explain in a second. These are the most exciting people for us. This is the early majority. Okay? These people are business people. They're buying the product because the ROI, the return on investment, is very good. If they install this system, it will produce significant benefit for them, and it's worth the risk to do that for their business. They're not so concerned about their personal career. And if it works, they will buy lots of them, and it will roll out. It is a good business decision. So this is where fortunes are made, as Jeffrey Moore says, in early majority. Up here, you'll sell smaller amounts of them to people who are buying them for very specific reasons. But once you get it here, you can buy large volumes of this. And this really isn't drawn to scale. This is much, much bigger than these two combined.
So this is where you know that your company can be something special.
Exactly. This is when he talks about crossing the chasm here. There's a lot of products that are sold on this side, but never make it over here. An example today, Google Glasses, right? Everybody, there were a lot of people who liked Google Glasses,
yeah.
But there was never a killer application that came out for Google Glasses, right? On the other hand, the iPhone looked like a curio at the beginning. It was fabulous technology. A lot of technological enthusiasts bought it, other people. But what happened was the iPhone was legitimate. And people saw it, and they bought it over here in large volumes. Exactly. So the products that you see kind of die never cross this chasm going from here to here. And that's the challenge.
But can you build a great business just serving tech enthusiasts or early adopters?
That's not the kind of business we're looking at. Those people are buying technology for technology's sake. They're buying it even though it's not rolling out. Here is where we really want to be. This is where the lion's share of the market is. And oh, by the way, this is kind of a dead end. If you don't cross this chasm, which many companies do not cross, you don't get the early majority and you don't get the late majority.
And what's the difference between early majority and late majority?
Well, these people are buying for good business reasons. They're buying because it's a good ROI, but their risk profile is less than that. Remember I talked about lighthouse customers? Those customers are over here. They're buying it for a good reason. And once these people see them buy it, then they will follow. But there's a time delay between the early majority getting it and the later majority getting it. So once you have this one is just, it's going to happen. It's just thereafter. And then you think the last part is, and this is, again, not drawn to scale, and these are the laggards. These are the last people. These are your friends that are still saying, I don't know if cell phones are going to catch on here. I'm going to stay with my smartphones are going to catch on. I'm going to stay with my flip phone.
Yeah.
But eventually they have to convert because everybody else has converted. I remember, think of it as records or CDs today. The CDs are all switching over to MP3, right, online. Some people still have CD players, but those are going to go away. And those people who finally convert, those are your laggards. But the real market is in here. This is the lion's share of the market. So let's revert back to pricing. How does this affect pricing? In here, there's not many people. Mm-hmm. And one of my mentors, Mitch Kapor, said, Bill, in your product, you're going to sell half the number you think you're going to sell to these people. He said, that's the bad news. Mitch Kapor was the founder of Lotus 123, very successful investor since then in things like Uber and UUNet and lots of other things. He said, the bad news is you're going to sell half as many. Here's the good news, though, Bill, is you can sell them at twice the price you think you can. Because these people are only going to buy one of anything. And then that's it. So they're not as sensitive to price. As we start moving over here, because they're buying based on ROI, they're going to be much more sensitive to price. So in here, for these people, don't discount. Keep the price high. Right. Even have the price increase, a special. We used to have it Sensible. We'd have a premium version for these people. And they want all the features.
Right. And it goes back to what you say about value-based pricing, because tech enthusiasts and early adopters, they don't care about your cost.
Yes.
So pursue value-based pricing.
Exactly. And remember, they're only going to buy one, so why not get a high price?
Right.
But your pricing over here will be much higher, more inelastic is the economic terms. If you drop the price, they're not going to buy more. So don't discount it. If they're only going to buy one, sell them at a high price. But as you start moving over here, you have the ability to sell more if you hit the price point correctly. A lower price point could sell a lot more. And they're buying on return on investment. So the summary here, to all you entrepreneurs out there, is we used to map at our company what a customer was it was an industrial design person in our target customer group. But were they a technological enthusiast? Were they an early adopter? Were they an early majority? Usually the people aren't going to be in this category that are adopting your products early on. But these people we valued extremely highly, and we would give them discounts. These people we knew were just really a pathway. They were important because they helped us refine the product, and they gave us good word of mouth that the product did work to come over here. But more so, these people gave us important cash for our business, so we did not discount with them.
Bill, it seems to me that many of our students will encounter situations where these people, the enthusiasts, early adopters, early majority, are actually within the same DMU, within the same company.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And in fact, when you look at the early majority DMU, you might often see someone from research, and they'll turn around and simply say, you know, Erdine, chief research scientist, is this legitimate technology? Are there other options out there for us to pursue it? And so that person is in it. That's why we don't just ignore this. You ignore people along the way at your own peril, right? So you want to be nice to these people, but you need to understand what they're about. And it's a different persona than the early majority.